Lane Hurt, Seminoles.com, here with new wide receivers coach Ron Dugans. Coach, I guess, being back in Tallahassee with Florida State, what's that been like returning, not as a player, but now as a coach?
It's a little different, a lot different. I'll say that. It really hadn't slowed down for me yet. I've been going, getting calls, getting texts, emails. It's been amazing, the support of me coming back home, of myself and my family. Just everybody's reaching out to you, seeing familiar faces that you hadn't seen in a long time. But it is a little different because on the third floor, when I used to go in those staff rooms, usually I was facing toward the stadium. Now my back sits where I can look out the back of out the stadium. A place that I like to call a place that I helped build, and just having an office where you can overlook the stadium, man, and just knowing for years that maybe what if, just seeing a lot of those older coaches that have been here for a long time, just seeing their office and actually sitting in their office. My office is like right next to Coach Bowden's old office. And so it's been unreal, man.
When Coach Taggart reached out to you initially, why was this the right time to make the move back to Tallahassee and come to Florida State?
Well, I prayed about it, and for myself, I've had some opportunities, to go different places, and every decision that I make, I pray about it. And no matter if I want to leave, no matter if I want to stay, I just pray about every decision that I make, and just the timing right now, my prayers told me, hey, you got to go. You got to take your family back home, and you got to go back and make a difference in Tallahassee. Not only with the football team and the university, but in the community. So I felt it was time, and made that decision, myself and my wife, to come back home.
Also working with a new offensive coordinator in Kendall Briles. Why does what you do as a coach mesh well with what Coach Briles does philosophy-wise with the offense?
It's a little different. My first full-time job, I was with Chris Hatcher. That was at Georgia Southern. He ran a tempo-style offense at the time. So I've been involved with the tempo that Coach Taggart wants and Coach Briles that he brings to the table. I'm versatile. Whatever you want coached, I can get it coached. And attacking technique and playing fast and all that stuff, playing with good pad level, getting in and out of breaks. I'm fine with that. I know that's what Coach Briles teaches his guys, is the type of offense he's been around. And I'm just excited, and I'm glad we got a chance to get to work.
What are your thoughts on the wide receiver room coming in and working with these guys? I know you've had limited contact to this point, but you've got to see them in the chase a little bit and spend a little bit of time with them.
Just seeing the depth chart, and then watching those guys work, they can run. And I didn't know they could run that well, So they give you a lot to work with. The kids, they want to be coached, they want to be taught, and just seeing those guys move around with a straight ahead or side to side, and the biggest thing, I got a chance to see guys compete. See them compete. That was the biggest thing that I wanted to see, how well they competed, and do they finish. We got to teach them to finish. And it's been breathtaking to see the entire group of guys work the way they work, and now I want us to work together. And I broke it down, I think last week, the first time they let me break the group down, I broke it down on togetherness, because we can't be a full unit if we're not together. And that's what we used to break it down on when I played here. And we got to have each other's back. We got to compete, we got to help each other out, we got to motivate each other, because it's one group, But it's been really pleasing to see those guys move around.
You get those 15 practices beginning in March. What are some of your early priorities that you want to get across with this group?
Thing that I've seen, just off of film, one of the biggest points is perimeter blocking. I feel like that's a need, and I feel like also, catching the football. But most importantly, just learning how to play fast and have the chase carries over to the football field. The things that they learned in the chase, pad level, competing, the details in the assignment. That's the biggest thing that I think the chase teaches you as a player when you're going through the chase. it teaches you to carry over, help the guys carry over the small details and assignments, the discipline of finishing runs, blocking on the perimeter. So it's different things that I want to accomplish this spring. First of all, learn the playbook, and that should have been number one. So they can play fast. But I'm just looking for physical mentality, having that mindset that I play receiver at Florida State, but we're not prima donnas. We're gonna be tough also.
Is there anything that you learned from Coach Bowden as a player that you've now taken as a coach and use as well?
The biggest thing that I learned from Coach Bowden, because he was a man of integrity and believed in prayer and everything. When I first got to Florida State, as a player, it was don't worry about what you can't control. And I took that to heart, and it carried out throughout my life. As a coach, and as a player, but as a coach, most importantly, you're going to go through adversity. You got to learn to persevere. And the biggest thing I learned from Coach Bowden is don't pray for a lighter load, pray for a stronger back. Because the load is going to always come. You're going to face adversity, and it could be on the play. When you're faced with adversity, and just pray that the Lord gets you through it. Hey, Lord, let us get this first down. But that's the biggest thing that I learned. And he always said before, also was, if you want another job, be good at the one you're at. I never worry about other places. It's always about being loyal to the guy that you work for and the school that you work for. Not worried about what everybody else is doing, who's going, who's coming. Coach Bowden taught us that, just to be happy at what you're doing, why you're doing it, and just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. And that's for these kids. That's why I got into coaching, to give back to the kids, because a lot of kids might have grown up the way I grew up, and some kids grow up without moms or dads, so it's bigger than football. You got to give back to that kid for the rest of his life, and not for 3 or 4 or 5 years, so you got to invest in these kids and give back, invite them over to your house, do different things to show them that you care about them, because once they leave you, it's a lot of people that don't care about them, so the biggest thing is Coach Bowden showed us love, and the rest of that coaching staff.
What do you think it's going to be like running out of that tunnel again?
Well, I walked out of it already. I didn't run out, and actually when I walked out, the war chant was going. It's just something about the war chant, man, that gets your blood going and your heart pumping. Just gets your heart rate up. But the first time to run out of the tunnel, heck, who knows? Me in tears. I just never thought that, it would be a possibility. This year or last year that I would be able to come back home and run out of the tunnel again. It was twice where I was on the other end, on the other sideline, that I'd never been on the other sideline before, in the other locker room, and it didn't feel the same. So getting the chance to come out of the locker, run out of the tunnel, and be on the right sideline is going to be great.
Well, thanks, Coach. Appreciate you taking some time with us, and
Thank
we look
you.
forward to seeing you out there with this team this spring.
Thank you. All right, Lane.
Go Noles.